Yo, what's going on, my boy?
What's good? What's good,
My
okay?
boy? Hey. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Jay for real. And who am I here with today, man?
UTSA linebacker Fredaruis.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. So, my first question for you, man. When did you realize that football was the path for you, man?
Uh, what I say when I realized football was for me was back when I was little. I started playing football when I was like 5,
Yeah.
but when I went out there and tried out when I was little, I was kind of nervous. But over the time, man, football is a journey. And
Sir.
football is a sport where you got to stay consistent. And football is like a brotherhood. So that's when I knew football was for me when I met new friends and I like to hit people, so that's why I knew football was
Yeah.
for me.
Get that little anger out, huh?
Yeah.
Feel me? I feel that. Hey. Well, I've got another question for you that goes kind of off of that. What's the biggest thing that football has taught you, man?
Uh, Stay consistent and always believe in your teammate because no matter what, in any circumstance,
Yeah.
football, man, like even on a play drive or something when you tired, you gotta have faith in your teammates.
Yep.
And it's always accountability, teamwork,
Mm-hmm.
communication. So football has taught me a lot. Learn how to communicate with people, learn how to work beside people, and always believing in your teammates.
I feel that. I feel like there's a lot of just like life things that you really learn from it too. I feel like a lot of players have been telling me about just like Coach Trailer, man, just how amazing of a guy he is, man.
True.
Like what is your thoughts of just getting to play under a guy like Coach Trailer, man?
Man, playing behind Coach Shirley, man, is an honor. Uh, he's a coach that he knows what he's doing. When he say what he say, he means it. If it's yes, it's yes. He knows it, he
Mm-hmm.
know. And playing behind coach, man, just been an honor. That's all I can really say. It's a blessing being on the skies, so I can't really say too much.
Nothing but great, just positive from that guy, man. You know
True.
what I mean? All I've heard is just positivity coming his way, man. Just life changing that he's done for some of these players, man. It's just much respect to him. So another thing I got for you is just what are some things that you like to do outside of football, man?
Uh, um, Outside of football, if I'm back in my city, back in Mississippi, uh, I really hunt when it's
Okay.
cold. I ain't no big fisher, but I fish in there. But I'm the type of guy that like to ride four wheelers a lot. So I
Yep.
ride four wheelers, or around nighttime, my spare time, I get on the game.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really do too much outside of football because 9 times out of 10, when you in the game of football, you really, when you go home or you off season, you still doing football. So
You sleep,
you,
breathe, and
st-
eat football.
that's all you can do when you
Yep.
working football. So it's every day. It's the same thing every day. You wake up. If you don't work out, when you come back, you tired. You out of shape.
Yep.
So now you got a possibility of get cut. So football is a year sport. So it ain't
Yeah.
nothing that you can't do outside of football. So I just say if I ain't working out, then I'll be riding four wheelers. But if I'm working
Yeah.
out, because I really get like 2 workouts a day, try to. But other than that, I'll be riding four wheelers.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I got family in Nebraska actually, and so
Mm-hmm.
every time I go to visit them, they have like this 4 wheeler, and I'm on it all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What kind of
And
four wheeler you got?
I don't even know. I haven't like ridden in years, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I just remember like it was mostly when I was like a kid that I would do it. I
True.
say I still would love to do it again. I'm not gonna lie. It's just I haven't really been back there in a while. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts.
But the thing that I was gonna go into, man, it's just like people think that when there's like it's just land out there and they say
Mm-hmm.
like there's nothing to do. Really, I feel like that outdoor life really is something different, man. Like really
Yeah,
just going out there with nature and like just we all live on this world, man. Like explore it, you know what I mean? Like
always.
live it like just live life, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
don't gotta always just be on your phone or just like be out in the city or just like at the mall or something. You know what I'm saying? Go
yeah.
explore the outdoors, man. I really mess with that about you,
True.
man. So you feel me?
Always, man.
That's real. You
I'm a
feel me?
country guy, so I
Yeah,
don't really
no, I
like to
feel
sit
that.
inside.
I was saying I got family in Nebraska, so I 100% understand, man. But hey, my last question though for you, man. What are your goals and plans for when you graduate, bro?
That's the question I've been thinking about because I graduate May the 18th this year. So
It's coming up.
my plans. So I don't know if you heard, but I went to JUCO. So
A lot of JUCO
we
majors at
all we
UTSA.
all got an extra year for the new JUCO little thing the NCAA has signed now. So my plans is to come back to UTSA after I graduate
Mm-hmm.
and play this fall. But after this fall, I plan
What's
on
up?
to after football don't work out for me. Now I plan on being a real estate agent or
Okay.
something like that, and just giving back to the community, man, and making sure my family's straight at the end of the day. And that's my goals in life, man. But
Just trying to leave a positive mark, though.
that's
I
it.
feel
But
that.
and with all that, though, you gotta have consistency. You gotta believe in God and
Gotta believe in
understand
God.
His
Amen.
assignment too. And that's really it. That's my goals.
Yeah. And I know that said that was my last question, but you had something that just sparked another question from me, man. It was just I see like there's been a lot of like JUCO
Uh,
like players that have gone from JUCO to UTSA now. Just like, is that the thing with just like Coach Trailer that is,
uh,
or is that just like,
nah, I ain't just gonna say that. It's so coming
oh
from
no, yeah,
JUCO,
I worded that wrong.
I'm gonna put like coming from JUCO as a coach, right?
Yeah,
I would get a JUCO player over a high schooler because of the fact that you got JUCO players that have played in the college level. They
yeah,
got a lot of D1 bounce backs that go to JUCO,
yeah,
right? So as a JUCO player, you're looking for a JUCO player to come in and play,
yeah,
right? Because he already had experience playing against guys that are eventually D1 players or D2 or eventually guys that was good in high school, right? So it's not more of it's all he just getting JUCO play. He got some high schoolers, but his high schoolers he looking for them mainly probably to come
yeah.
in a red shirt or something like that because they freshmen. But his JUCO players he looking to come in and play,
I
right?
also must respect for JUCO players, man, because I got cousin. Shout out Andres Langhorn, man.
Yeah,
JUCO made, man. But it's just like the journey from going from JUCO and like I know there's always that self doubt in your mind that you're like, do I keep going with it or do I take
true.
another path? And so it's always much respect, whether or not they continue with it or not. That when you play JUCO, man, that's it's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I always will have respect for people that go through that process, man. And it's a journey. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's a long journey.
It's a long journey, and it's
They say to be real, man, JUCO's harder than the Division One. A lot of people don't know that.
yeah,
My JUCO I went to, man, was like my coach I had. He had us doing stuff like military stuff, man. And
yeah,
the stuff we do out here is more like based off speed and stuff like
mm-hmm.
that. But at JUCO, man, you used to have people put their foot on your chest and you doing push-ups. Like it was
Hey,
just, man, our conditioning time is like around this time around spring. We had got up to like 26 and 110s just running.
wow,
And that's why I say JUCO is way harder than Division One. It's just only thing about JUCO and Division One is that the
what's up?
speed get different,
Yeah,
and that's really it. The speed get different, and size get different, and
sir.
game plans get different. But and at the end, it's all football.
Yep,
So that's how I say.
good question. I see your brother has a ride, your
My twin.
twin. What's going on, man? Tell him who you is, my boy.
What's up, man? It's Jermarius, safety at UTSA here.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, now that I got y'all both here, man, I think it's time I ask y'all both some questions for y'all as twins. You feel me? So my first question for y'all, man. What was y'all's favorite memory playing together, man?
Uh, my favorite memory when me and my brother was South Pike game my senior year. First play, he came to me. He was like, "Hey, dog." Because I was 9. He used to call me 9. He was like, "Hey, 9, I need to stop." So this is the first play of defense.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, 9, I need to stop. You give me a stop, we're gonna go score." So I'm like, "All right, gang, I got you, brother." We hugged and stuff like that. Went to the sideline. Went on the field and we stopped them 3 and out. They had like one of the highest running backs in the city around the time. We stopped them, and literally the first play on offense, my twin went down there. He caught on 2 people, and he got a flag. Well, he got a flag. He scored. He scored it. He went in the end zone and threw the ball like a million feet in the air. Got a flag, but that was my favorite memory playing with my twin.
What was your favorite memory, man?
Man, we've been playing together since we was 5. We always been together. So there's obviously a lot of memories on the football field between me and my brother. But to kind of piggyback off of, what he said, I'd probably say my favorite memory would either be that one or, man,
The Raymond game.
probably my my junior year, his senior year. We're playing Poplarville in the third round of the playoffs.
Okay.
And we were in a tight game at first. Kind of got out of hand late, but it was more than just a game for me at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because like I really realized that me and my brother were gonna like be separated after this season, after this game. Because we were losing, and so to see my brother know that his high school career was about to come to an end and still go out there every play and give it his all. Even though his college future wasn't, set in stone, he didn't know. He still went out there and he gave it his all. And so as a younger twin brother, seeing something like that, seeing how one person could take a situation in which they didn't want to be in and make the best out of it, that kind of motivated me as a younger brother, to give my all every day, each play, and to just continue showing up. And so even though that's not like a wow big moment,
No, I mean,
it was something for me because it was the first time it had ever happened. You know what I'm saying?
It was a type of bond that y'all made from it. You know what I mean? I think that's really cool, man.
No doubt.
And we were just getting into like how much I like respect for just players that are in certain situations, man. Like being in JUCO, man, and working your way up to being in D1, man. It takes a lot of mental and physical strength. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So so much respect. I got respect for both of y'all, man. 100%. Yeah, for sure, bro.
Appreciate that.
My next question, man. I want to like piggy off of what y'all were talking about. Who's like more of like a trash talker, man? Like out of the two of y'all. I gotta know, man.
I ain't gonna lie. Him. Like I'm a type of guy on the field, man, that like I let my ability and my pass talk on the field. But my brother, he's a DB. They known for talking trash. You know what I'm saying? He's a safety and all that, so they gonna talk trash. But I ain't too much of a trash talker. I just let my pass talk.
So, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not the type that's just gonna like rah, just like look to talk trash, right? Yeah. But obviously, in the heat of a moment in the game, you gonna make a play or something like that. Somebody gonna say something.
Yeah. You know why receivers be talking that.
Right. Crazy. So when somebody says something to me, it's like, oh, that's what you right. I remember we were playing Fresno. Sophomore year in college. Yeah. We were playing Fresno at Fresno. There was this kid I was covering all game, covered him like a blanket. I don't even remember the dude's name. I think he was number 3 or something like that. I don't even remember. Anyway, so man, I had strapped the dude and he went to talking. And man, what do you do that for? Honestly, trash talking after you make a play just like builds way more confidence. And people don't, kind of like, but some people some people need that, man.
Some people, they need it. Some people just they just let their game talk, right? Y'all more just letting y'all's game talk.
That's true.
On the front end, I'm gonna let my game talk. Yeah. On the back end, if you start it, I'm gonna let both of them talk.
You know what I'm saying? And you also gonna get in their head too.
Yeah. I'm gonna let both of them talk.
See, that's the one thing about being on defense, man, is you can really get in their head.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're really supposed to do is get in their head.
As a defender, as a defensive player, you have like your job is really to keep them out of the end zone, right? Yeah. Obviously, you got to know what you're doing, know your assignment, know your job. Yeah. But you can talk as much trash as you want to. As an offensive player, you got to really want to stay calm, right? Because you got routes, you got concepts, you got so many different things that you want to execute. And it's all based off timing when it comes to offense. So you got to really be locked in. So if one player on defense get in your head, get you out your game, you probably be out for the rest of the game.
The whole playbook is already messed up now.
Jacked up. Facts.
I'll say it's one huge family, man. So everybody got to do their assignments individually.
Oh yeah, gonna have to.
You're 111. Yeah. And if you ain't doing your 111, then something
ain't right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't good.
Yeah. Well, hey, my next question for y'all, man. How was y'all's journeys different to UTSA, man?
Individually, like my journey and his journey?
Yeah, like how different was y'all's journeys to UTSA, man?
I go first. Yeah. Well, my journey to UTSA was different. So, like I said, come out of high school, I ain't really had no offers. So my journey, my only offer coming out of high school was Southwest. The only JUCO offer I had. So when I went JUCO my freshman year and then my sophomore year, our plan was to go to New Mexico to play with my twin. But, God had other things and other plans for me. And so I lost so much weight coming out of JUCO. So a lot of coaches felt like I wouldn't develop, right? So I had to go the D2 route, right? So I went the D2 route. I went to Henderson State University, and that was one of the best things that could ever happen to me because I still played people that was D1 bounce back. I played a guy running back. He was from Arkansas. He went SEC, but his size, they cut him, so he came back. And, I played and I did that year. I actually told my brother, I said, man, if I have a great year, I led the team in tackles, I give me a couple picks, a couple sacks, then I enter the portal and try to get to D1. So I had one heck of a game. I think it was SAU. I had like 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. So I was like, well, that's all I need. Right? And I led the team in tackles. So I was like, well, that's all I need. So after the season, me and my twin, we got on the phone. He was like, man, you ready to do it? I was like, yeah. I was like, man, I'm kind of scared. He was like, man, just, hey, we're in this thing together. Because coming from a D2, it's hard to get to a D1.
No.
So as I entered the portal, he was getting all the, recommendations and everything. Everybody was hitting him up. So I only really had 3 schools that liked me, and that was UTSA, Arkansas State, and Southern Miss, right? So Southern Miss was on us. We committed there at first, right? But we came down here. Well, I didn't come down here because I was already committed to Southern Miss, right? So my twin came down here. He came to UTSA, and he was like, man, I really like the vibe. He was like, UTSA might be the move. In my head, I'm like, man, Southern Miss just told me they're going to give me this, they're going to give me that. Because UTSA was only offering me at PWO, right? So Southern Miss offered me a scholarship and all that. So as he said, he was like, man, I'm coming to UTSA. So in my head, I'm like, man, I want to play with my twin. Like, I want to play with my twin. So I talked to my mom. I was like, Mom, the UTSA offered me a PWO, we just got to pay for the school. And I work in the back end because that's what I've been doing my whole life is working anyways, right? So I came out here, and the journey been fun. So last year was one of the hardest journeys because, the PWO, man, it look over you, right? It look over you, and the spring was one of my worst years, like one of my worst times I ever had around this time last year. I was coming from a D2, and like I said, D2 to D1, bro, the speed changes, side changes, and everything changes. So as I get out there, it's like I knew I came from a D2. So in the fall, I talked to God, and I was like, God, I've been one of the guys that, that's been getting looked over, and I just want to know what's my passion, like what's my purpose in life. And I went out there in the fall, man. It's just like when I said that, everything just changed. Like I actually just locked in and told myself, man, it's just football. Like you've been playing football since you were 5. Ain't nothing changed but the speed inside. Play football. So the fall went by, I redshirted. I was playing. I was on scout team. Like I didn't play no games. I was on scout team and everything. So around this time, it's the spring again, right? So last year I told you the spring was hard.
Yeah.
So as I changed my mindset and understand the game now as a D1 player, I was balling, I was consistent, I was changing my body type. So my coach came to me, he was like, man, we like how you doing, we like how you change your body, so we want to put you on a Fredaruis scholarship. So I got on a scholarship this year, man, and praying to God, like I said, keep God first and stay consistent with the things that you do, man, and keep your head down and give him all the praise. And like I said, praying this year go as I can really get through it.
You keep God in your life, man. You keep that determination.
Always,
I have
man.
no doubt you're gonna make it, man.
Always,
for real. You know what I mean? I mean that's a lot of
that's true, man.
That's a lot of mental strength you gotta have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so much respect I have for you for keep going with it, man. Just
got to, man. You got to. It's a journey, man. A lot of people have gave up on, but like I said, man, I was one of the guys that I knew what I had and I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to play football, so I just kept my head down.
Keep betting
like
on
I said,
yourself.
when you come out here with your twin brother, that's your motivation to be real. So if he keep going, I know I got to keep going. Like, he ain't gonna let me give up, and I ain't gonna let him give up. That's just been me and him. It's a bond that
just keep pushing each other, man.
Always, man.
Just know
it's a bond that can't nobody break. So
that's keep betting on yourselves, man. I have no doubt that y'all gonna make it. Even if
Appreciate that, man.
you feel me, no, like real talk,
For
man.
sure, man.
Real talk. I really like y'all's mindset is on a whole nother level, man. I really like that about y'all.
Appreciate it, man.
I would let's get into your story too, man. How was your how was your journey like different from his, man?
Well, my journey was a bit different, right? Out of high school, obviously, my brother didn't have many offers. I was a two-way player in high school. I played multiple positions, offense. I didn't really play a lot of defense. I played a little bit, but I didn't play a lot. So I got multiple offers to play at junior colleges, small FCS schools, and then I got my first FBS offer from the University of New Mexico. And so my journey was different at that stage alone, right? Because at 18 for him, he had no offers. At 18 for me, I knew that I was going to go to college and play football. Where I was going to go, I didn't know. But I knew I was going to go to college and play football. So I got to New Mexico. I decided on New Mexico, because I wanted something different, right? I had been in Mississippi my whole life, and I never really experienced something away from my family where I had to grow and learn on my own. And so I decided on New Mexico. I get to New Mexico. I played my freshman year. I start like 3 or 4 games. I played in all of them, but I started like 3 or 4. I didn't have the year that I wanted, that I felt like I was capable of having. And so I get back in the spring with, the intentions of proving to my coaches that I am who I say I am. Because obviously as a freshman, I had hiccups, right? I wasn't, the best, so I didn't look like the best. I wasn't as confident. So you could tell that in kind of how I played.
Still,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're still like in a new program trying to learn like how everything fits and works. Because at the end of the day, sometimes it's like people say like you go out there and play football, but there's a lot of like other things that go into the facets of it that you gotta, when you go to like a football team, it's like you gotta be able to fit in that system as well.
No doubt. No doubt. Now that I look back on it, the system probably wasn't too hard. I was just young and didn't know anything about it.
That too, yeah. I always like being a freshman, it's just like you're still developing.
Facts. Yeah. But so I get back in the spring, I'm trying to prove myself. I was a starting safety. I hurt my right knee. I went the whole summer rehab with the rest of the rest of the spring rehab, and summer I was rehabbing. I got back in July and I was working out with some of my teammates, and I then tore my meniscus in my left knee. So now I had just got back from my right knee injury, and now I just hurt my left knee. And so I knew I wanted to get a little closer to my family, and so I didn't let my knee injury stop me, right? Yeah. Even though I had tore my meniscus, I had did it once on my right knee, so I was prepared. I knew what came with it. But obviously it was painful, right? I couldn't really walk. It was hard to run. My knee was as swollen as a softball. I think they drained like a liter of fluid out of my knee at the end of the season. But I wanted to play. I wanted to prove to my coaches that I was a capable player of producing at this level. And so I said, bump it. And I fought through it. The beginning of the season was kind of rough, right? I barely played the first game. The second game, I played the entire game. The third game, we played New Mexico State, and I got benched at halftime. So I went from the starter to like the third string guy, quick, right? It happens. Everybody's football. Man. Everybody's good at this level, right? Yeah. And so, like my brother said, man, he went and he prayed, because my future and what I plan to do with this game, it means a lot to me. Coming from where I come from, it means a lot. And so, man, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I wasn't getting any closer to the goals that I had set for myself. So I went and I prayed at like 1:00 in the morning. And, I just told God, hey, like, this is what I want. This is where I'm at with everything. Just have your way. So after that prayer, it's like my whole attitude about my situation had changed. I wasn't bitter anymore. I was actually grateful. You know what I'm saying? I saw it. I saw my situation, or I had a different attitude about it. Like it was an attitude of gratitude instead of, bitterness, if that makes sense. And so after that, man, it was like everything for me just changed, right? I wasn't playing still, but I was happy to just show up to practice, right? To be around the guys, to be around my teammates or whatever. It's
family.
Basically, exactly. Those are my brothers, right? Yeah. And so I think it was week 6, maybe. We were playing Hawaii. And I went and I asked my coach, I was like, hey, coach, you think I'm going to play this week? He was like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. So we go through our practice that week. The guy that was in front of me, he ended up getting benched, and coach put me in on a Monday practice, and that's like Mondays and Tuesdays are usually like, you know, your toughest practices where you do most of your work.
Yeah.
And so Monday, Tuesday, I have a great practice after he gets benched. Wednesday come, Thursday come, still finish off the week strong with great practices, right?
Yeah.
So I get the call on the Friday night, right before the game, that I was gonna be starting. So I was like, all right, cool, perfect. You know, I didn't really think too much of it. I didn't like put no pressure upon myself. I was just like, you know, just go out there and play.
Yeah.
So I prayed before the game, man, and I went out and I had a crazy game. My stat line was crazy. I think I had like 2 picks, 7 tackles, 3 PBUs, a sack, 4. So I had a crazy stat line. But that for
crazy
me,
stats, I ain't gonna lie.
that for me was solidification, right?
Yeah.
Not only did I solidify my spot as a safety at New Mexico, but it was everything that I needed for myself internally, right?
Yeah.
Because when you haven't produced after producing for so long, you kind of start to lose confidence. You know what I'm saying? You start contemplating, you thinking like, is this really for me? And that's where I was at, right? Like you can ask my mom. I was close to giving up on it, right? Because it was hard for me. It was something I had never been through. But you know, I had that game, man, and finished the rest of the year strong, right? Finished the rest of the season, all Mountain West honors, stuff like that. And so knowing that I wanted to continue playing with my brother at some point in my college career, I had told my mom, you know, that I was planning on hitting the portal. And I wasn't sure because I enjoyed my coaching staff at New Mexico. I enjoyed my teammates. And so I was kind of contemplating it, right? I was thinking about it, but I wasn't thinking about it because I wanted to stay if they were going to stay. Yeah. Well, the staff ended up getting fired, and so I was like, all right, cool. They fired. Those are my coaches that recruited me. So if they're not going to be here, then I'm gone, all right? So we get in the recruiting process. I call my brother. I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, I'm about to hit the portal. Like, what you want to do? And he was like, man, let's do it. He was kind of nervous about it at first because he didn't know, right? When your future's uncertain, obviously you're going to contemplate and think about, hesitate. Yeah. And that's what he did. And I couldn't blame him for that. But anyway, we hit the portal. We had tons of offers. Arkansas State, Southern Miss, here, Alcorn, San Diego State, you know, some nice schools. Yeah. And so, like you said, we had originally committed to USM. It's like 45 minutes from our hometown. But the more we sat at home, or at least I sat at home, I realized that maybe that's not what God intended for me. After praying on it and thinking about it, it's like, that's not for me. So I get the call from Coach Lip and the staff. I think it was on like a Thursday in December, like right before school was about to start. Yeah. Maybe it was January. But I get the call, and my best friend from New Mexico, Zach, he got the same call. And so we always thought it would be cool to transfer from one school to the next and play together. And so when we found out we both had the same offer, we was like, let's just take the visit together. So we take the visit, and I get here. I see the facilities. You know, I see what the crowd and the atmosphere is like here at UTSA. And that all obviously caught my attention. Yeah. But what got my attention the most was the opportunity and the realness from all the coaches, right? Yeah. The sincerity, like being genuine. That really, you know, caught my attention really quick.
We were talking about Coach Traylor, man, just how much of like a good guy he is, man.
Coach Traylor's unbelievable.
He's amazing.
He's a great coach, but he's an even greater human being, you know? And the staff that's around him are men that are just like that. You know, like he prides himself on hiring people that are just like him or have the same qualities and traits that he has. And so that, you know, that alone really caught my attention for sure. You know, just how the coaches.
Culture, man. It's a culture.
The culture here, man, it's a winning culture, right? Like in New Mexico, we had great players, but we didn't know how to win. We didn't have a winning culture. But here, the culture is just not all about winning, but it's emphasized. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Coach Traylor wants us to be better men. It's not just football players, but he emphasizes, you know, life, winning, and you know, a bunch of other things. And so that was something that caught my attention right off the bat. So I called my brother and I was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna flip. You know, like this is what I'm thinking about doing." And like I said, he was kind of nervous about that at first because he only had the PWO and USM was offering him a scholarship, so he was kind of like nervous. But I was like, "Man, bump it, right? Like bump it. It's an opportunity. Let's go take it." You know. So he was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." And so we ended up here at UTSA, and man, it's been a great journey so far. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a great journey. Obviously, every journey comes and poses its challenges, trials, whatever you want to call them. But what is life without them, you know?
Yeah.
And so our journeys have been different, but at the same time, God has had this for us all along. And so it's happening.
God's plan.
You know what I'm saying? And it'll only continue to get better from here. So,
man, I love y'all's energy, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I appreciate that.
The way y'all just, like, damn. You know what I mean? Damn. But hey, man. So I had just given him some of like his own type of questions. So I was gonna let you kind of answer some of your own too that I had just asked him earlier. So,
okay, that's cool.
All right, let me start off with when did you realize football was like the path for you, man?
I knew that at 5 years old. Probably before then, if I'm being honest. He probably said the same thing. He probably said the same thing. But I knew at a young age. I was 2 years old, walking around the house with a football in my arms, right? Like, we used to be in the yard playing all the time. You know, our mom, she worked crazy hours when we were younger. Our dad wasn't really too much involved. Yeah. You know, from time to time, he'd be there. But for the most part, he just wasn't involved. And, you know, no shade to him, but it's just the truth. And so we always was outside playing in the yard. And we wanted to play. Like, we really, really wanted to play. And so we kept begging our mama, like, Mama, can we please play? And one day she came to us and she was like, y'all want to play football? We were like, yes, ma'am. So she take us. And we went to this place we didn't know anything about. We went to a totally different city with a bunch of different people that we didn't know nothing about. And, man, we get out there. Obviously, we're nervous because we don't know these people. These aren't our friends. But we get out there, we try out, we practice and stuff like that, and we balling, right? Like, I knew I could. We always knew we could ball in the yard with each other, right? But who were we outside of the yard? And so when we went to that tryout, man, and we performed the way that we did, I knew then, like, okay, this is what I really, really enjoy. Like, this is something. And as I got older, the more I went through certain, you know, phases of my life, it was a peace mechanism for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a getaway. It was a way for me to express my feelings and what I was going through without having to talk to somebody about it. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew at a young age, man, football was the path for me. You know, at some point it ends for all of us, right? We won't play forever. But at a young age, I knew this was a path I wanted to pursue.
And even when y'all are also like separated, y'all still got each other at the same time, man.
No doubt.
Y'all ever just kind of push y'all having each other both chasing this dream, man?
All the time. Like, when I was in New Mexico and he was in junior college and at Henderson State, we used to call each other every day. Every day. Like, we literally would call each other on FaceTime. We would call each other on FaceTime, man, and we would do push-ups together on the phone every day. Every day.
It wasn't a day that we didn't go out without
like it was I'm telling you, it was not one day that we went without calling each other. We called each other every day. And so I felt like if we could do that over the phone, imagine what it'll be like if we together. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, he'll be at practice, like, and I see him maybe like tired, right? Not giving it his all because he's tired. And I'll be like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, bro, don't nobody care if you tired. Don't nobody care if you're hurting. Yeah. Keep pushing, right? And it's not because, you know, I don't care about what he's feeling or what he's thinking. But what I want him to understand is we live in a cruel world, right? Mm-hmm. And people only really care about if you can show up and if you can produce. They don't care about what you got going on at home. They don't care about what you're feeling on the inside. Can you show up and can you produce? But you have to be able to fight through that to know that you can produce. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And having been through that and knowing that, I feel like as a twin brother, it is my obligation to teach him that if he doesn't know, right? Yeah. So just having my dog with me, bro, that's like literally when I tell you that's my best friend, I call that man for everything. That's my dog. That's my brother.
Told you what he just did a few minutes ago?
Yeah. What'd I do?
Cash out somebody $350 on accident. You don't even know what happened.
He was the first person I told. I said, man,
you gonna get the money back, man.
Yes.
You get the money back, man.
Nah, man. My last question for you, man, is just, what's the biggest thing that football has taught you, man?
Man, football has taught me so many different things, right? Most would say if you put the work in, you'll eventually get what you want, or you'll get rewarded for it. That's not always true, right? Because you can give your all to something and it not be so rewarding. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you can give your all to this game and still end up not getting what you want. But football has taught me, man, to just stay consistent, you know, to always believe in yourself, never quit, and to really just believe in yourself and the ones around you. It has taught me how to trust. It has even taught me how to love my neighbors and the ones around me, right? It has also taught me how to put my differences with somebody aside for a common goal, right? As a football player, you're probably not going to like everybody on your team all the time, right? There are going to be some players you might not like, but you still got to trust them because he got to do his job, right? You still got to love him because y'all got to play together. You know what I'm saying?
Together.
Yeah, like we in this together. Yeah. And so, man, football has taught me so many different things, but the one thing that I feel like football has taught me the most is to constantly and continuously show up regardless of what it looks like. And I feel like that's so hard for a lot of people, right? Like I just said, obviously, you know, they say if you put the work in, you'll be rewarded for it. But I was putting the work in,
it's not always
but I was hurt, right? I'm putting the work in, but I can't even play. I can't even do nothing. I'm just looking, right? So I had to continuously show up day after day and believe that it will come, right? Patience is the key. You hear that all the time, but you must have a plan with your patience. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna just sit here and wait, and then you just wait. What are you doing while you're waiting? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Are you still preparing? Are you still showing up? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the, like I said, football has taught me so many different things. But that's probably one of the most important things that it has taught me is to not only be patient, but to continuously prepare while being patient. Don't just stop and be like, okay, well, I'm waiting for this to happen. Well, you're gonna be waiting forever. All right. You still gotta press forward. You still gotta take steps forward. And so that's one thing that football has definitely taught me, man, to continuously show up regardless of what you feeling, how you feeling. And not to, like I said, I say most people don't care. But if you sit down and talk to some people might care, right? But I mean, are they gonna cry for you? Nah. They might feel sorry for you. But the only person who can really get you out of where you are is you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something I had to learn on my own because for so long I had my mom, right? I had my brother. I was in New Mexico alone. I didn't have nobody. Never felt so alone in my life. But I had to be patient. I had goals. I had dreams. I had aspirations. This is what I set out to do, right? And it wasn't happening for me, right? So what did I have to do? I had to take a step back. I had to analyze myself. And I had to be patient. I had to wait for God's timing because when I wanted it, I wasn't ready for it. Yeah. And even though I wasn't ready for it, and it wasn't on my timing, it was on God's timing, I still prepared anyway. That's why I continuously showed up to the film room when nobody else was there. That's why I showed up earlier when nobody else was there. That's why when we went to practice, I was the first one on the practice field. That's why when we practiced, I was intentional about everything I did, right? Because even though I'm not where I want to be, I will be one day. So I'm going to prepare for it. So that's what football has taught me, to be patient, but to keep preparing while you're being patient. Don't just ever settle.
I like that. I really like that.
True. No doubt.
I appreciate you. I was just going to say, like, we don't have to have this part on camera. I just wanted to ask y'all, man, like, do y'all feel like football has just kind of brought y'all closer to God?
I would definitely say football has brought me closer to God. Please add this part on there, bro. You can add this part on there.
I just wanted to make sure.
This is probably the most important part, right? The dang, I had a brain fart. The awards, the accolades, all that kind of stuff, right? It's flashy. But who gave us the ability to do all this? God, right? And we grew up in a Christian church. So God was always a part of our lives. But until you're at a point in your life where you just don't know what to do and you don't have anybody to do it for you, you've never really had to lean on God. And so when I was in New Mexico to play football, I was at a point where it was just me. My mama couldn't save me. My brother couldn't save me. Nobody in my family could save me. The only person in my family, the only person who could save me was God. And so through that, like I said, I went in my car and I prayed one night. And I told God, I said, God, I've been trying to do it for myself for so long, but I can't do it anymore. I said, Lord, however my life turns out, I don't care as long as you have your way with me. And man, once I prayed that, it was like the weight of the world was just lifted off my shoulders. And, I had prayed, right before one of my games, and I was like, God, if you real, let me go out and have a crazy game for my brother, right? And that's when I went out. I had 2 interceptions, 7 tackles, and like I had the crazy stat line. And so from that day forward, it was like, well, dang, I prayed and asked God to have his way with me. And I was like, God, if you're real, show me that you're real. And it was like instantly. It wasn't like a delayed nothing.
It's like
it was
really feel his
you can
energy.
you can feel
it.
it. You can just feel
You
it.
know it.
Like I told you, like my whole demeanor had changed. Everything about me had changed. And so now when I'm going through something, you can ask my brother. If I'm going through something, like ask him, do I worry? You never see me stress. You never see me worry. Like he said, I just sent somebody $350 on accident, right? But I'm not worried about it. I text my mom and I told her, I was like, well, somebody got blessed today. I look at it that way. Yes, I accidentally sent it to them, but it was a blessing for them. And so football ultimately has brought me closer to God. No doubt.
Respect.
No doubt.
100%. Like, it's just a way to words, man. You know what I mean? Like it's just deep. That's deep, man.
No doubt.
100%.
I'm gonna say, yeah, football has brought me closer to God, but my journey when I was in Arkansas, I didn't really like go through what my brother went through when he was in New Mexico, because my brother was 18 hours away, and I was only like 5.5 hours away from my hometown. So if I wanted to see my mom or something like that, then she could drive up there. But the most important person that I was close to was my girlfriend. She was only 2 hours from me. So if anything was going wrong, my girlfriend would come see me, right? Yeah. So around that time, like I couldn't really just build trust with God. Like I really didn't understand him, right? So when at the season went by, he was still blessing me, but I wasn't close to him. So when I entered the portal and when I said I had an offer from Southern Miss, right? God had other plans for me. He wanted me to get close to him, but work for what I wanted, right? So when I came out here, that's when it got hard. Like I'm 10 hours from my mom. Well, I'm 10 hours from my girl. I'm 8 hours from my mom, right? So now all I got is me and my brother. So now, mind you, my brother already went through it, right? So now it's literally just me and my brother. We in the house. My brother paying for everything. I ain't paying for nothing. I'm PWO, so I ain't getting no extra money, right? So I'm just out here really just playing football for free, which I don't mind playing football for free because that's the game that I like to play, right? Because playing right now, like the money that you make, it's not the goal. The destination is the NFL, right? Yep. So I was out here just playing, man, and I went through a little phase, right? I lost my girl. I was on PWO. I wasn't playing how I wanted to play, and like I was just horrible. Feel me? I was just horrible. And my brother came to me. He was like, "Only person that's gonna help you is God." He came to me and told me that, and I was like, "Man, Lou, like, why is it always me?" It's like I'm the only person that's going through this. Like, why is it me? Yeah. Right? So one night, man, I was in my room. Literally, I walked out, and I walked from our old apartment up here by the UTSA and sat at the bus train, right? And I sat right there, and I was like, man, I need to go where I feel home at, and that's to the football field. So I went to the football field at UTSA, man. I never told nobody the story, and I was like, man, God, I just need to call my girl. She never answered. He told me, your girl is not your person you need to be talking to. You need to talk to me. Yeah. So as I was walking around the football field, I was praying. I was like, God, I don't know what you're trying to do with me. I don't know what's my destination. I don't know what's my purpose. But if you can please just show me what you have for me in store and what can I do to change my life around, I just give it all to you. And it's like I heard him speak. He was like, all I want you to do is just have faith in me, believe in me, right? So after that day, everything just changed. Like literally, I stopped worrying about me and my girl. We broke up. I was just living through God. I was just having fun, right? So like my brother was saying, patience is the key. no matter if I got a scholarship last month or if I got it last year, right? I had to have patience and stay patient for him, right? So as I went on through the year, man, like I said, after spring, when fall hit, it's like God kicked in with me. And it's just ever since then, like I just believe like God is real. Like I say, man, you always give God a faith and an honor, man. I always believe in him because everything through Christ, like Christ strengthens you. You know what I'm saying? So you walk by faith. Faith is the key to success, right? The power lies in the tongue. So if you don't believe in God, then like everybody got a test, right? Yeah. Your test was different than my test today. And God test, you can't study for it. Ain't a test where you go to class, you study for it, right? Yeah. So tomorrow gonna be a different test. You don't know what your 100%. Test is gonna be. So like how I look at it is today is your opportunity. But tomorrow is not promised. So every day you give God a glory and an honor that he wakes you up, he just gave you another thing that we call life. He gave you another day to go out there, glorify him, and I always give him the praise and man, do what you're supposed to do the next day he give you. So that's why I say football has brought me closer to him.
I feel that. And just to like add on to that, man, I'll be honest, man. Like I've been trying to just continue to like grow my relationship with God. And you know, it's been a lot of like for me, bro, the one main thing I feel like has just been like the downs and then just like lust and all that, man. But each day I try to build my relationship with him. Each day I always at night I try to, instead of trying to be on my phone or something, I try to read 2 or 3 pages of the Bible, man. You know what I mean? I'm trying to continue to just keep going and keep building my relationship with him, because what people don't understand is that energy is real. You know what I mean? That energy, and like they may not know it now, or you may not know it now, but it'll eventually touch you and you will understand like it's real. You know what I mean?
Well, it's crazy.
It's crazy how like,
it's crazy that you were talking about like lustful temptation. You know, temptation is real. Yeah. Right. We all have places in our lives in which we are weak. Yeah. Whether that's smoking, drinking, whether it's lust, whether it's sitting on watching TV all day. It could be whatever, right? Before you, right? It's crazy that you said that today, because just on last night, I was reading the book of James. Yeah. And I think it was chapter 2. The first subheading of that chapter was trials and tribulations.
I read the same one today.
Right? Trials and tribulations. And then it went on to talk about dang, I had another brain for it. It went on to talk about I just said it. Dang.
Can't remember it now.
Nah, it was a word I just said though. Oh, not trials, not tribulations. It was another T word. Temptation. Okay. It was talking about temptations, right? And honestly, you know what? I'm gonna let you read it, right? Because the way I interpret it, opposed to the way you may interpret it, can be totally different. Yeah. But to help you with that, if you want to read about trials and tribulations and temptations and all that kind of stuff, the thoughts, read the book of James. It changed my life. Matter of fact, I'll read to you.
Flesh and the blood too.
I'll read to you exactly what something said, what it said. I posted it on my Instagram. But trials and temptation. James says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Let perseverance run its course so that you may be complete and mature, not lacking anything. Like I just said, what would life be without trials and tribulations?
That's true.
Right? You battle things that I may battle, that I may not battle. We all battle something. Right? Let it run its course.
We're all human at the end of the day.
There you go. None of us are perfect. Yeah. None of us will ever be perfect.
I've learned that from God, is that He is forgiving.
He is. And a lot of times people feel like, because I felt like this at one point. Man, I was sinning so much. It was like, I know God can't forgive me for this.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
But I open my word and I read it, and he's a forgiving God.
yes.
He's a loving God. He's a
Yes.
caring God, right? He shows mercy. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, all this time, I just been sitting here thinking God can't forgive me when all he has been telling me to do, son, just come to me.
Yeah.
Just lay it down at my feet. Yes, you're going to struggle. It ain't going to be easy, right? It's all going to be hard. You got to choose your heart, right? Are you going to give it up and struggle with, having to give it up? Or are you going to let it continue to take a toll on you? It's all hard, right?
You choose to ignore it. Even if you choose to ignore it, he gonna show you 100%. He gonna always show you. Even if you gotta, even if it has to be the hard way. You know what I mean? And it did get to like a point for me where it had to be the hard way. But I'll say it's a blessing that I was even able to be shown what I was shown and experience what I was experienced, whether it was good or bad, because it changed my life.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt. And man, he'll continue to show up in your life. Right? Like what you're doing with this, your podcast, your YouTube channel, man, that's incredible. Right? Yeah, you see a lot of people trying to do it. But what God blessed you with, what God gifted you with, nobody else has that. He made you unique. It was a reason. It was a reason you were placed here. Not just on this earth, but even here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even me meeting you, that's a blessing. Right? That's a blessing. That's a blessing. Your story, it's a blessing.
I appreciate
right?
that, man.
People say you either get blessings or lessons. Maybe. No, that's not what they say. They say you either take wins or losses is what they say. Yeah. You either win or you lose. I don't look at it like that. Yeah. Right? I always win. Because even when I didn't win in what I was competing in, I won because I learned something. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like,
even if it's a negative experience, just because you had a negative experience, you still learn from it.
You learn from it.
And if you take that, you can grow from it.
You can grow from it. And that's the biggest thing, man. Just continue to grow. And even for my brother and myself, that's something I tell myself all the time. Continue to grow. I don't know it all, and I will never know it all. Continue learning. Right?
One thing I also want to say, YouTube is a thing that you're going to have to stay consistent with, right? But the one thing that you don't want to do is worry. Right? Don't worry about if I'm gonna get famous off of YouTube. Don't worry about who's gonna follow me today. Don't worry about that because they say worrying and faith don't coincide. Right? It don't coincide. So that was my biggest problem. I worried a lot. I always wanted to worry. And once I learned how to not worry and just let God handle it, my faith kicked in. Right? So once my faith kicked in and worrying out the door, that's the devil that's in your ear making you worry. And God's not okay. God in faith, he's the faith, the devil's the word, right? So if you got the worry and winning over the faith, then somebody losing right now, right? So I let the worry control me, and I couldn't get my faith strong with God. So once I learned, I let the faith kick in. I every night I used to pray and let God take away the worrying. Now I don't worry at all. Like, I don't care what happened. Hey, God got it. It is what it is. God got it. I ain't worried about it.
No doubt.
So, like with your YouTube, man, just stay consistent with it. Like every day, continue to do what you do. One day you're gonna blow, right? And but you gotta also know that on this earth, this might not be your purpose. Your purpose is to get close to God on this earth, right? So YouTube and anything is just something that's a blessing to you, right? That's something that's gonna help you get paid. Something that's gonna help your family out one day. But stay consistent. Stay consistent, man. Don't give it up because it's a journey. And you're gonna love the journey because you're gonna meet new people. You're gonna communicate with new people. You don't know who you're gonna come across. You just came across two UTSA athletes, right? And like I said, you don't know on this journey who you're going to meet. Just stay consistent. I always talk about God when you meet him, man. And don't worry about who's going to follow you, who is going to subscribe. Don't worry about it. It's all going to come, I promise you. Just stay consistent. That's all I can say, man. Stay consistent and keep your head down and keep grinding. That's all I can say.
We are twins, but here's where we differ. He said to stay consistent. I'm going to tell you to stay persistent. There's a difference. When you are persistent, you are consistent through trial and tribulation. Mm-hmm. Right? anybody can stay consistent when it looks how they want it to look.
That's true.
But what are you doing when it don't look how you want it to look? When it's tougher, right? When it's taking a toll on you, what you doing then, right? So wherever you are in life, wherever you may be in life, stay persistent, right? Like I told you, continue going. And this is something that I tell myself all the time, to be persistent. Anybody can be consistent when everything's going good. But what are you doing? Who are you when things aren't going the way you want them to go? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got a bright future. Very bright future. I hope I can get back on this show 5 years from now. And I'm in the league. Jermarius Lewis here at safety from the Houston, Texas, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on your channel, right? And we
trial tribulation,
you know what I'm saying?
The trial tribulation bring that was really, that's God test to you. That's why I say you don't know when your next test is gonna come, because your next test can come tomorrow. Literally, the same test that you just had 2 weeks ago, it can come tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say the trial and tribulation is God testing you to see if your faith stronger with Him. Do you believe He's gonna walk you through this? Because God there in every step, He's gonna walk you through the fire, right? So you always gotta believe and understand. Yeah, it's gonna be the same test, but it's gonna be different things. Like, it's gonna be a different piece. It might be the last time you might have had your 2 cousins or something like that. This time it might be 2 people you don't even must know. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a different test. It's gonna be the same test, but different people or different things or something different happening in that test. But you still gotta believe in God, man. Have faith and walk through the fire with Him. He's gonna be there. He ain't leaving you. He's there. He gonna love you. He's gonna walk through the trial and tribulation. But it's just His test. It's just His test of faith. That's all I can say. And one day, we get back on this channel, like my brother said, man, it might be linebacker for Fredaruis Lewis at Cleveland Browns or Baltimore Ravens. You just never know, right? You know, that's how faith, and that's something that we trust that we're going to be doing later on in life. You know, 2 years, 3 years from now, right now, we're praying and hoping that we are in the lead, and hey, it's on from there. You know what I'm saying? So
my mom actually was telling me the same thing, man. Exactly what y'all were telling me, man. I was saying, thank you. I was saying, she was the one that actually was trying to like push me more into it. So me and her, what we're trying to start doing is each night we'll read like those 2 to 3 pages, and at the end of the week we'll talk about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so she's always been telling me when I'm doing this stuff, like, live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't just like try to get it over with and like just do like the conversation. Get to know the person, and like who they are, because you never know what that could turn into later in life.
No doubt. But, heck yeah. That's another thing football taught me. I'm glad you brought that up, to just be in the moment. All right? Because when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. And you can't get it back. You know what I'm saying? Like this time that we just spent together, we can never get that time back. Yeah. So we might as well enjoy it while we're here. Yeah. Right? I feel like we shouldn't just do things just to get it done, to get through it. If we're going to do something, my grandpa used to say, anything worth doing is worth doing at your best. So if it's worth doing it, if you're going to show up and do it, give it your all. Give it your all. You know? Give it your all. And I tell people all the time, I don't really do things with the intentions of benefiting from it. Not often. I just do it because I feel like that's what God has asked me to do. And if God is asking me to do it, if I'm going to be somewhere, God is prompting me to be there. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there for God. And anything else is just a cherry on the top. You know what I'm saying? Amen. It's just a cherry on the top. So, man, I appreciate you for this. I really do.
Y'all, man.
I appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
No doubt.
Appreciate y'all, man. Always.
No doubt.
Hey, we gonna wrap it up, though, man. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy, Jay, for real. Who am I here with, man? Let them know.
Jermarius Lewis, safety at the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Linebacker, Fredaruis Lewis at the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Hey, man. We is out, man. Hey, I really appreciate y'all.
No doubt, man. No doubt.